Well, first of all, welcome everyone to this particular webinar 2014 entitled Community Mentoring Program, What, Why and How. And this session is being recorded now. I'm Alan Soong, the facilitator for this particular segment, and I'm part of the ASCILITE executive taking care of the webinar for this year. This morning we are very happy to have Sue Gregory, Dr. Sue Gregory, the Senior Lecturer, ICT Education, School of Education from the University of New England, Australia. And Sue will be giving an introduction to this particular program because Sue is actually managing this program this year. So yeah, that will be the session. And before we continue, I'll pass the time to Sue. Just want to give you some quick orientation about some of the tools that you can use. So for example, if you would like to speak, you can actually click on to one of the icons, the third one from the left at the top, which is a hand raise button, so you can click onto that. And if there are a few emoticons as well on the extreme left. So for example, if you find that it's too fast or too slow, you can just click an indication using the emoticons as well. At any point in time, if you have any questions, you can always fill those questions in the chat area. I think you have already tried that out and it's really excellent. So I think these are the few tools that you are able to use, and if you want to speak, please raise your hand and I'll give you the rights to speak, and then after that I'll remove the right. So without further ado, I'll pass the time to Sue.
Thank you, Alan, and welcome everyone. I can now see myself. Before I was miniature, so I couldn't see. Welcome our big audience of two people, Berto and Pixing. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. So very quickly in the chat, can you just say yes or no? Have you participated in the community mentoring program in the past? Okay, excellent. All right, so what I'll do is provide you with an overview of the community mentoring program and a little bit about my experience with it because I have participated. So first of all, welcome to the ASCILITE community, which is a great community, and I'll just tell you a little bit about the community mentoring program, which has applications open at the moment. They close on the 21st of February, which I believe could be, well, it's in 10 days' time. So about Friday week it would close. So that is the URL to the community mentoring program on the internet. But if you do a search for ASCILITE, you'll find the link down the bottom. But I will tell you how to find all of that in a minute. So what is the community mentoring program? Well, it involves people in a professional mentoring relationship. So there's learners, the mentees, and experienced practitioners, the mentors. Now, it doesn't mean that a mentee is someone like a student with a mentor being an academic. For instance, last year we had I think he was an associate professor, he may have even been a professor, who was the mentor, and he was being mentored, he was the mentee, I should say, so the learner, and he was being mentored by a lecturer. But the lecturer had the experience in the area that he wanted to learn. So it's finding the synergies between two people and joining them together to achieve something. Now that something could be a whole pile of things, and I'll come to that in a short period of time. Now, if you have any questions, just either put them in chat, I'll notice them there, or put up your hand and we'll ask you. So, within the program, you agree on goals. So, you'll have a dialogue between mentor and mentee, working out what you want to achieve, and then you action that goal throughout the 6 months of mentoring and mentoring process, and then you'll reflect on that. So the focus of the CMP, the Community Mentoring Program, is, okay, I've just seen Unika's just joined us. Welcome, Unika. I might just, yep, could you just write there, Alan, can you hear? And if not, well, we'll work something out. So welcome, Unika. So we've got 3 people here now. So the focus of the Community Mentoring Program is on academic practice, early career research, teaching innovations, learning design, graphic design and programming. Now, why are these the focus? Because ASCILITE is all about computers and technology and education. So they're following that pattern. Hopefully Unika will be able to, yes, perfect, lovely. Welcome. So Unika, I'm just going very quickly, just started the presentation, and so have you participated in the Community Mentoring Program before? Just a yes or no in the chat would be great. And I'll keep going while we work that one out. Thank you. So the focus, as I just said, is on those areas. So there's 2 ways of the joining. Unika, have you? Thank you, Alan. So there's 2 ways of joining the partnership. You can work individually, mentor a mentee, or there can be the community collaborative mentoring program. So there's a pair of mentors with a number of mentees. Now, for example, I participated in that 2 years ago, and there were 2 mentors and 5 mentees. It was fantastic. There were 2 people from South Africa, 1 from New Zealand and 2 from, actually they were the one institution, but different campuses in New South Wales. And then there were 2 mentors, and we were both from New South Wales. Okay, lovely, Unika. Well, that'll be great. Hopefully we'll provide more information. So it depends on what you want to do, whether you want to go with one-on-one or 1 or 2 too many, or it could even be 1 mentor with many mentees, depending on who wants to do things. Now, for example, when we did our community collaborative pairing up, everyone wanted to improve their IT within the university in some way. So one wanted to expand their use of the iPads, another one wanted to look at how they could use the online learning tools. So, and there were several along those lines. So it was a very different type of mentoring program, and it was a very community one. So community mentoring is very much the word used there, because we all pitched in and mentored each other. So even though there were 2 mentors and 5 mentees, we actually all contributed to each other's progress. So basically in this program, you need to work out what you would like to achieve by using a mentor. Now, a mentor is someone that is more of an expert in the field, not necessarily the expert in the field, but more of an expert in the field in which you want to collaborate. Now, I'll come to the types of things that people have done in the past, but there's been quite a few mentors and mentees over the years. There were about 10 last year, there were 20 plus the year before, but that was because there was a big group there, so that sort of helped the numbers there. So there's probably around 10 to 20 each year undertaking this mentoring, and it is a 6-month thing, winding up at the ASCILITE conference at the end of the year when everyone comes together. So in the partnership, the mentor and mentee, they get together and they agree on goals that they want to achieve in the 6 months. So the idea is that you should have contact at least once a month over the 6 months, and this contact can be virtual or face-to-face. I've only known one contact that's been face-to-face, and that's because the mentor and mentee were in the same institution. And once one of those people left, that contact actually fell away, which was interesting, because meeting virtually works just as well. You can meet virtually in a variety of ways. Now, for example, we're using Blackboard Collaborate. Now, if someone's got the facilities to do that, that's a good way of joining up. Adobe Connect is another one. Skype is a great way. We use Skype with our people, and that worked really well. And like I said, we had 2 from South Africa, so time frames are always an interesting thing in when are you going to meet up and at what time. So because we had New Zealand, Australia and South Africa, we had to meet at 3 p.m. Australia or New South Wales time, 5 p.m. New Zealand time and 7 a.m. South Africa time. So you can see we really couldn't deviate from that time much more, because it was getting too late for the New Zealand person and too early for the South African ones. But it worked, and it worked well, and we did meet more than once a month, and we achieved a lot of goals. It's good to have one big goal to achieve, and if you can get a couple of lesser significant ones, and whether you achieve them or not, it's very good to at least aim for one and achieve that. So everyone will go about deciding on their goals, and then you have to actually fill in a contract form that you all agree on what you're going to achieve in that time. So it's something that's done straight away. So as soon as people are joined up, once it's all been decided, the 21st of Feb, all closed off, the 22nd of Feb, we start matching up mentors and mentees, and then asking people if they are happy with the people that we've put them together with, and then start the process going. We provide contact details and then let you get on with what you need to do. So fill in the contract and then start mentoring and being a mentor and a mentee. So at the end, once you're finished, we like people to formally participate in an evaluation of the program, and this evaluation is often disseminated through conference and journal articles. Report back on the outcomes of the project, and this is usually done at the ESCAlite conference, where people, depending on how many people and the time slot that we're given, but people, the mentor and mentee, talk about what they've achieved over that 6-month period. And that's at the symposium. So we had last year, one of the mentees couldn't come, but they came in via Skype, and so they were actually able to participate in the symposium even though they physically couldn't be there. So we do attempt to provide all ways of people joining up. Are there any questions at this stage? I'll just go back. Yep, no, lovely. Okay, I'll keep going then. Okay, the benefits. Well, there are some written down benefits. So expansion of your skills, knowledge, experience in your chosen field. You develop communication skills. That is so important because you're usually communicating with someone from far away, so you really need to develop those skills, and I believe everyone does quite successfully. Leadership skills, so sometimes people are thrown in the deep end and made to undertake some project that requires them to show their leadership skills when they weren't originally after that, but because of the mentoring process they did. You definitely have the opportunity to network and create contacts out of your own workplace. Networking happens through the one-on-one mentoring process, but the collaborative one also. But if you're able to make the ASCILITE conference, the networking escalates because you get to meet the other mentors and mentees, of which you may have participated in a webinar with them to meet each other, but you get to do so face-to-face at ASCILITE. And it does give you confidence to actively participate in the ASCILITE community. So that's another thing that we do with ASCILITE, the mentoring program, is that all the mentors and mentees, we get together at least once, but maybe twice, to meet each other and talk about what we're doing. So last year we had a webinar where we just got to have a chat and find out what other people are doing and bounce ideas off each other. So what I would plan to do this year is have at least two, one early in the experience, so that people can find out what others are doing, because that can actually help you decide on where you want to go and things like that. But also at the end to find out what people have achieved and to discuss what we're going to do for the ASCILITE conference when we present to everyone. Okay, so we've got Andre's joining, so I'll just, if Alan, you could ask Andres if he can hear you, that would be fantastic. Thanks. Okay, so as already said, we strongly encourage all the participants, mentors and mentees to attend the conference, and to encourage you more, mentees receive 50% off the early bird rate and mentors 25% off the early bird rate. So there are benefits in joining, because the conference fees are around 700 or 800 Australian dollars, I can't remember, and that's a big discount. That's a very big discount, so that getting that rate is a really good incentive. That is okay, Andres. We all had that. Alan and I got in early so that we'd make sure that if that was going to happen, we were still here, so that's fine. We had that too, had to download Java and all of that, so totally understand. So I'm just going through the benefits of the mentoring program, and so, well, one of the benefits is the discount off your registration rates. Now, the conference this year is in Dunedin, New Zealand. Now, some people might go, oh dear, that's a long way away. I find that, oh, excellent, that's really exciting, because I haven't been to Dunedin. And I do know someone there, so I'd love to go and visit them. And it's near Queenstown, which I believe is a beautiful place in the country. And I don't know if New Zealand are in a drought like we are in Australia, but New Zealand is such a beautiful country. So I'm excited about it being in Dunedin. So anyway, besides the fact that the conference is in Dunedin, mentors and mentees do get a discount on going there. So the timelines. The 21st of February is the timeline, the deadline for expressions of interest. So if you are interested in, oh, it's repeated. If you're interested in participating, you need to ensure that you get that in by the 21st. Now this goes to the ASCILITE secretary, Andre, and Andre will then gather it all and send them to me and Shirley Rochelle. I think she's still participating in this, but anyway, to match people up and then send out offers of mentorship. So by the 7th of March, all successful applicants will be contacted, and then by the 28th of March, all mentor agreements have to be signed. And at the 14th of November, we need your end of year reports, and then the conference is this year on the 23rd to the 26th of November in Dunedin. So on that, you need to participate. If you are wishing to participate, you need to go to the ASCILITE website, and on the front you scroll down to the Community Mentoring Program, click on that link, and at the bottom of the page you'll find the two forms that you might need, one of them that you will fill in. So one's the mentor and one's the mentee. So the types of things that we'll ask in those forms, so obviously you've got to put in your name and organisation, email, that sort of stuff, job, position, but then you have to click on, I'm interested in choosing the community mentoring program or the collaborative community program, which is 2 mentors, several mentees. So you tick on whichever one that you want, mentor, mentee. So download the right form, mentor or mentee. Remember, mentee is our mentor is the person assisting and mentee is the learner. So if we look at the mentee form, so if I go back to, whoa, okay, I've just lost everything. Okay, I'll just go back to the second slide. There's the URL. So at the bottom of that, you can download the document. So I'm just going to go through the 2 documents so that you get a feel for the types of things that you might need to fill in. So if we start with mentee first, what specific goal will you achieve by participating in the program? So what you need to fill in there is the types of goals that you wish to achieve, okay? So it can be anything, but by putting that in, we can match you better, match mentor and mentee much better if we have the types of goals. What do you think you can contribute to the relationship? So what do you think, how do you think that you can help in being part of this program, okay? And then if you provide a brief biographical sketch that will assist in matching you. So just tell us a little bit about your work and anything, the types of work, about 100 words or so, to just let us know. Do you have preferred modes of working with your mentors? So if you state there you want face-to-face and face-to-face only, then we have to match someone that's at least in your city. But I have to say that will be very difficult because you would need to ensure that someone in your city is participating, and that can happen if you have organised a mentor-mentee relationship with someone else, which happens. People find this relationship in many, many different ways. So if you do have preferred modes, please write them in. Describe the type of mentoring that you would prefer or desirable characteristics of the mentor that might meet your needs. So, you might have a particular bent on wanting to work with only professors, or you might want to work with an IT expert, or you might want to only work with a female, etc. So if you have particular characteristics, write them in. And do you have a preference for a specific mentor? Now, regardless of whether they've joined the program, you can write their name in there. Now, if they haven't joined the program, then we will have to chase them up and see if they're interested. There is one requirement though, and they do have to be a member of the ASCILITE community, which will cost them $132. Actually, yes, it's still that until July. So to join. So that's just a requirement, or you might know that you've talked to someone and they have agreed to be your mentor, so you put that in there so that we know that you've already discussed this and that we can match you, okay? So any questions on the mentee application process? Yes, Alberto, I will stop talking and Alan will enable you to talk.
Alberto, you can speak now.
Okay, so my question is, I just missed the figure that you mentioned for the membership. Can you please repeat that? Thank you.
Sure, it's $132 to join ASCILITE. So you'll find that information on the website. Now, it's $132 for an individual. There are a variety of different other costs or payment options. not payment options, prices. Depending if you're a student, it's a little bit less. If you're joining by your institution, it might be less. So you just need to look at the website. There's quite a few different options there. I do have that open, so I can go to it and let you know the different prices. I think I can. Right, membership, it's button on the left, join ASCILITE, and it is. Okay, so 1 year, 132. If you are a student or a retiee, it's 66. And a 3-year membership is 165 for a retiee or a student, and 363 for a individual membership. And as I stated, there's also institutional memberships, but you'd have to follow that up with your institution if you want to join that way. But 132 is the typical amount that people pay. Okay, so all those prices are going to go up in July. It was passed at our AGM in December. So if you are interested in doing this, you're not a member, then I would suggest that you pay up earlier rather than later. But there is an institutional flyer that gives different rates also. Okay. So I'm going to guess there's no more questions. All right, I'll just move back over to where I was up to. Okay, so the commitment for anyone that wants to participate in this program, it's negotiated. It's negotiated between yourself and your mentor, or between yourself and your mentor or mentee. No one's going to tell you what to do, so you need to think about it. So examples of what people have done in the past, someone might have wanted help to write a lit review. Someone might have wanted to publish a paper, update their IT skills, undertake research. It's only limited by your imagination. It's what you find that you're not achieving in your work roles that you feel that you need someone to give you guidance. Now, this sort of relationship keeps you on track too. So, for example, I put in there publish an ASCILITE paper. When I was doing a community mentoring program with the 7 of us, 2 mentors and 5 mentees, the whole 5 mentees had never published, even though there was several that were doctors, and 2 of them were already lecturers or senior lecturers. They'd never published before. So we wrote a paper for ASCILITE, and it was a fantastic experience for everyone. So that was just one example. Last year I was one of the helpers with the community mentoring program, but I wasn't a mentor or a mentee. However, because I was a member of another group, one of the mentors and a mentor and a mentee came to the group, and they wanted to write a paper on a certain topic, and they said, but we need help. We need you know, another couple of people to assist with this writing, because they needed the data and things like that. Anyway, so there were those 2 plus, and I think it was another 4 in the end, ended up joining them. And what we did, I was one of them, what we did was get ethics approval. We surveyed people, and from that we've actually written 3 papers. So that's pretty amazing outcome, and that was all in that 6 months by that one mentor-mentee relationship. But it really, in the end, was a collaborative mentoring relationship. But it's the sorts of things you can achieve. One person in the past wanted to update their skills, and there was someone that was helping them in regard to that, and they came away with amazing skills from that. Another wanted to develop an app, and they needed someone with app experience or programming, and so there were just lots of different things. But it's usually around what the mentor and mentee negotiate. So the other thing is attend at least one webinar to get to know your mentees and what they're doing. Now, it isn't compulsory, of course, but it is a really smart move to get to know the other people that are participating in this. And as I said, that way you can bounce ideas off each other. But it's also a great way to just meet people and brainstorm and talk about what you've achieved, because when you have to join something like this, a webinar, you actually have to put it in your thought process of what have I been doing, how can I achieve that. So yeah, I find the process brilliant. It's very, very good for all involved, mentors and mentees. So as I said, at ASCILITE there's a short presentation by mentors and mentees about their experience, and as mentioned, it's about 5 minutes each. It's not very long. At the ASCILITE conference, anyone participating in the mentoring program will receive a certificate which they can put on display, and we usually go out to dinner on the Monday night of the conference just to get to know each other a little bit better and in person. So that's another, it's really good just to get there and find out in more detail what people have been doing. And it's also really great for the mentors and mentees to get to know each other a lot better, because quite often they actually haven't met each other until the ASCILITE conference. So I just realised I talked about the mentee application, but I didn't talk about the mentor one. So I'm going to move over to that one now. So if, again, you download this from the ASCILITE website, and again, it's your expression of interest, your organisation, job title, and then you just tick whether you want one-on-one or one-to-many or two-to-many. So what areas would you be willing to provide mentoring? Please indicate relevant qualifications and experience. So if you want to be a mentor, that's quite easy for you. So if it was me, you know, putting in your experience is quite easy, or qualifications, really easy. But your experience, just a little outline of the types of things that you're an expert in, and you don't have to be a real big expert, but willing to help someone else. Outline brief experience, previous experience or other models of professional mentoring. So you just put in there if you've ever had any experience, and if you haven't had mentoring experience, the types of tutoring type experience that you've had where you're helping others, assisting others. So then obviously there's a bio there and preferred modes of working with your mentees again, and that's all. So again, is there any questions about being a mentor this time? And again, a mentor has to be a member of ASCILITE, so if you're interested, it's $132 to join, but you do get the 25% off. So you come out a little bit better. By the way, ASCILITE conferences are a lot of fun. Okay, so if there's no questions, I'm going to move on now to the contract that you would have to complete. Okay, so if you have received notification, and that is in March, early March, 7th of March, you have 3 weeks to talk to your mentor-mentee and start discussing the types of things that you might achieve in your 6 months, and then you have to complete a mentoring agreement. Now, these you don't download from ASCILITE, so I'm going to tell you what's in them. So in the agreement, it's a proper agreement. Okay, it's 57 characters. I thought, wow, it's 57 pages, but it's only 1 page. So you have to type in or state your purpose. What is the purpose of the mentor and mentee relationship? And obviously it's, you know, the community mentoring program, but what is the purpose of the relationship? What are you going to achieve? The second one is, what type of activities are you going to undertake? Okay, so the types of things that you will do in that 6 months. It doesn't mean you have to do them, they're just your goals. Then you go on and talk about your communications methods and frequency. So how are you going to communicate with each other and how often? Now, I would recommend every 3 weeks if you possibly can, and in the things that I just showed you, it actually stated that you should contact each other within every month. If you keep it going a bit more regularly, you remember. If you miss a month, you get out of the contact thing, but you also get out of the rhythm of doing this program, and you might start to forget that you're doing the program and maybe not continue. But at least a mentor should keep the mentee on track. That's the idea. So communication methods and frequency. Now I would suggest that you all add email to that and some type of way that you talk through audio, such as Skype or telephone or whatever, doesn't matter. But you do need to talk. So then you have to talk in review. Sorry, you have to fill in the review section. How will you measure your progress, achievements and barriers over the 6 months? So what are the barriers? I'm sure everyone will be able to fill that one in. What have you achieved and how did you progress to get that achievement? And then the final thing that you have to say in your agreement is dissemination method of outcomes. So whatever you've achieved, how are you going to let people know that you've done that? So that's really easy if you're writing papers. The dissemination method is easy, a paper at ASCILITE, in a journal, wherever you're going to put it. But if it's creating a product or something, how is that going to be provided to other people? So even if it's fixing up something that's to be moved from paper-based to online teaching, how are people going to know that this worked? Okay, so that's the sort of thing that you need to put in there. And that is all that is on the mentoring agreement. That's all you have to fill in. So any questions on all of that? Because I've now pretty much covered anything that is on the program. Are there any things that you particularly might want to know that I haven't covered? I know some people were talking about the form. I think you, and maybe specific things. So if you had anything, oh good, glad. If you had any direct questions, please ask. Now, that's my email address. If you want to know anything, please just send me an email and I'll get back to you straight away. It is an easy process. Look, don't be daunted by any of the paperwork. It's all quite straightforward. And if you can't fill something in, just send me an email. Say, what is it that you really want here? And I might be able to help you anyway, but I'll try. I'd love to see you all participate. So can you all just indicate whether you are interested in being a mentee or a mentor, or just interested in finding out? Nothing's going to happen, Unica. Is this the goal you mean? Because if you don't achieve your goals, it really doesn't matter, because while you're undertaking this process, you are achieving things. Regardless of, if let's say your goal was to write a lit review, part of your PhD, okay? And you were having problems with finding literature on some very unique thing that's really, you know, not much stuff about, and that was the goal, to find that, and you couldn't because it wasn't there. If that was the sort of thing that your goal was between mentor and mentee, and you didn't achieve it because it wasn't there, you actually did achieve it because that's what you achieved, that it's not there. But having the process between mentor and mentee, whether you achieve the goal, it doesn't matter. And some people might aim too high, and that can be a problem. It's only 6 months. You usually find once you get going, it's way less than that, because if, for example, your goal is to write a paper for ASCILITE, that actually finishes in July. You submit it in July. So you've still got August, September, October, November, 4 months before ASCILITE. So if that's your goal, to submit a paper and write your first paper and submit it to ASCILITE, I would actually think of choosing 2 goals, because that will be done by July. And that is why you find a lot of people achieving more than their 1 goal. But do remember, even though if ASCILITE paper is a goal, because that is a goal of a lot of these mentor-mentee relationships, you will get sometime after the July deadline when the reviews come back. So you'll have to factor that part in. Often they're not extensive, but still you will need time for them. That's okay. Yeah, so if you don't achieve your goals in the time frame, but you work towards them and you achieve something, that's perfectly fine. No, we don't all get our goals in the time frame, but we do work towards them, and that's exactly what we aim to do. Is there any other questions? What sort of goals are people thinking of? I'll just tell you if I think that they're achievable in that time. Oh yes, of course. It's not a requirement that you have to go to the conference. It's just a nice thing to do. So no, you don't actually have to go to the conference. So you can still apply for the community mentoring program, even if you don't intend on going to the conference. That's just an added bonus because you get a big discount from it, but you don't have to go if you don't want or can't. Everyone might want. Everyone should want, but not everyone may be able to. That's okay, Andres. It will be on again next year. So, yeah. So it's going to continue next year, year after. If you're ever in a position to be a mentor or a mentee, we're still here. But you might find doing this sort of thing might keep you on task for the other projects that you're doing. And that can be a goal. Fantastic. So there's no cost to join except that you do need to be a member of ASCILITE. And there's other benefits of being a member of ASCILITE other than being in the mentoring mentee program. And that's, you know, discounted rates at the conference, bulletins, there's lots of other programs within ASCILITE. There's a CMOP program, ASCILITE Live, the webinars, all that sort of thing. There's a Facebook group. So if you're interested in joining ASCILITE Facebook, do so, because we often post things in there just to remind people of what's coming up. Okay, so if there's no opposition, I'll just wait for your question. Yep. Okay, yes there is. Good question. Now, if you do a search for ASCILITE and Shirley Rochelle, I'll just go over here. R-E-U-S-H-L-E. She has actually written 1, 2, 3 papers on it. So 2013, 2011, and I believe 2012. So she has written 3 papers that talks about the community mentoring program. So that's something. Now some others you could look up. Yeah, I was just thinking there's the papers that other people have written, but right, I'll write it in there. Her name's quite hard to spell, and that's why I'm going to go back and make sure I spell it correctly. What I was going to say is I could tell you some other people that have written, but they didn't write on the program. So she's at USQ. Yeah, they didn't write on the program, they just wrote papers, so that probably doesn't help so much. But Shirley's written on the program. So like I said, she's written 3 papers. So 2011, 12 and 13. So one of them is, okay, I'll just put in the name of the papers for you, that will help. That's one. This is 2. And her third one is right, here it is. Okay, they're the 3 papers that Shirley's put together. So that should help you have a look at the types of things that Shirley's written about. She's handed it over to me this year, so I guess I will be putting together something, which is why she likes to have, no, that doesn't work. She must be going to do one this year because you need to put it in by July to have it published. So, and November is when she gathered the information or reports from everyone. Well, thank you, Alan. That helps a lot. So just in case you don't have the URL to the mentoring program, there you go. Yep. Other questions? Actually, you don't have to be a member of ASCILITE to put in a paper. So there you go. So, yep, but usually people maintain their membership because it does give them a discount on the conference. Often you can ask for a little bit of an extension on time too. But yes, definitely, look, anything's possible, you just have to ask. We're all very flexible. So, yeah, just ask. And sometimes people get to almost the time of submitting and think, I'll just put in a concise paper, and a concise paper is only 4 pages. as opposed to the full paper, and it's double-blind peer-reviewed, so it's still reviewed, and that is extremely handy. So you might find that you can write 4 pages, but you can't write 10, because that happens a lot. You just don't have the information data to write the full paper, so you might just write a concise paper. So it's really up to individuals what they want to do. Okay, well, if there aren't any more questions, I'd just like to say thank you for coming along today, and thank you for asking questions. It's always nice to have that interaction. And thank you for that URL, and thank you, Alan, for organising this. And I hope I see you all at Dunedin and in the community mentoring program throughout the year. Thank you, everyone, and you're welcome.